What's up, guys? This is Let's Talk Horror Movies here, bringing you guys a new movie review. Today I'm reviewing Pinocchio Unstrung, the next film in the Twisted Childhood universe, aka the Pooniverse. This just released, actually, technically today on July 24th, but I got to go to the Q&A yesterday at the AMC Universal Theater. It was a sold-out crowd. It was a blast. Just from, I have photos and stuff like that. I'll try to splice in the pictures, but it was such a blast. Just from getting to, before we even getting into the movie room, got there around was getting there about half an hour early, but was trying to get to the theater fast, but we had to park on top. It was a lot for just general parking. There was a lot of people there, but overall, once I got there, I got to go and see Scott. I got to see Reese. I got to see Andrew. Scott Bell, the composer. Scott, the producer, director, writer, star of some of the films. He currently just is in post-production on Blood and Honey 3. He directed Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, and he played Christopher Robin in Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, while Reese directed Blood and Honey 1 and 2. Pinocchio Unstrung, the one we're going to see, and he's about to get to direct Pooniverse Monsters Assemble. But anyway, was really cool, was a lot of fun, got to hold a puppet of Pinocchio. That was really cool. So this is before the movie. So, that's what one of the best feelings about going to these Q&As are. Now, last year's Q&A with Bambi wasn't as not like it was only Dan and Vince, and that was still a really cool experience, getting a poster, getting to talk and take pictures. And Peter Pan was pretty much the same thing. It was a bigger at Burbank 16. Really cool. That's where I first got to meet Scott and Reese and Martin and Vince. And that was a really cool atmosphere. But this was even more, because that you had Pinocchio around. You got Todd Masters was there. Got to meet him. Really nice, just from the little bit I got the chance, because I was talking with Scott and Reese all night. But anyway, getting to the movie, what Pinocchio Unstrung is about is a boy named James who loses his parents, and he goes to live with his granddad, played by the great Richard Brake. And Richard Brake introduces him to Pinocchio, who he wanted to help him have a friend. But Pinocchio, there's a little bit of mischievous to Pinocchio, and it turns into a bloody carnage ride. So, the positives. Let me get straight out. The puppeteering, the practical effects to what they did with this film, and they show you behind the scenes clips of Pinocchio, and I even reposted on it. Vince Knight reposted it through Instagram, and I think it's on Twitter. But what they had to do to make that work, and Reese explained during the Q&A about some of the things that you have to work around with editing and stuff with the puppets, and how to make it for them to like move in certain ways. It was just so tricky, and it was about 80% on screen Pinocchio was, and that's very hard. It's very rare. It's possible, but it's very rare for that to happen, because there's so much that goes into it, because Pinocchio is your lead character. That's who James is also your other lead character, but the main character is Pinocchio, and you're going on this ride with him. And it's just terrific. The puppeteering, the practical, the gore, the kills are insane. This is the first one that's R-rated. So they did talk to us about, they had to cut about 30 seconds off one scene that will be on the Blu-ray 4K DVDs. I believe it's an unrated cut, unrated edition, and it's at 30 seconds for one scene. And you'll see, if you go to the Q&A, he does actually talk about that scene, because I videotaped it, and also 50 Sheets of Tay also has his the Q&A on his channel as well. Go check him out. But yeah, all that stuff was great. I like the voice and the look of Pinocchio as well. He brings the creepy and the intensity that you want, but also that kind of, okay, there's a charm and there's a likability that you could feel for Pinocchio, and you would want to be his friend, while also acknowledging that, once shit goes down, like the nose, it's a much more intimidating thing, and eventually you can you're gonna like see where he gets dangerous. But also, Richard Brake as Geppetto, I think he brings a really softness in the beginning of the film. He really brings something different from what he's done, while still you feeling that there's something he's hiding, but not in the same way. Um, in the same way that he does in like his other films, where it's more maniacal and much more you really don't. But he's a granddad that wants to do something for his son. He wants to have his grandson to have friends. He did it. He's doing this for James. It's not anything more. It wasn't like really completely like. But once you get towards the back half of the film, you ultimately understand what he did to what he does, and it's insane. But Richard Brake gives a really damn good performance, and yeah, he's great. Richard, not Richard, Robert Englund plays the cricket. Now he's not going to be in as much as the film as you want to, but with the use they have of him, he is really good, and he has the quips. He's got the there's the nostalgia, or the Easter eggs to like a Nightmare on Elm Street. So that was something they were always going to do when you bring in when you're going to bring in Robert Englund. You're obviously going to have some of those things where you're going to acknowledge, okay, this is Freddy Krueger, and it's really cool, and he's fun, and how he works with Pinocchio. The Wood Mother, I think that's what she's called, is creepy and unsettling, and the designs they do on these puppets and stuff like that is so cool and so real, and just this is what you want in horror films like these. You want that old school practical effects, gory, fun time. This in another positive. This is a very fun, and it is at times silly film. So it doesn't take itself too seriously. But what I'll say is that it's still above like something like a lot of the public domain stuff, and more like I think it has that better tone for it than what like Screamboat is. Now, don't get me wrong, I did enjoy Screamboat, but tonally, I've enjoyed all these films more than Screamboat, because I think it goes really deep down into the really, really stupid, especially when they are doing the really obvious making fun of the Disney characters, and that was a bit over the top, and some of the acting that is pretty rough, and people. While I think overall these films, I don't think the acting's been that bad. I know the one that is going to get the most shit is the first one, but even then, I think the acting was fine, considering it was a lot of newcomers. But anyway, I think the tone, they found the right balance of horror and the silliness that you want in a movie like this, where that it does have that feeling of like a child's playing it, which was really cool. And Todd Masters and his team does a really terrific job on creating and doing the special effects and the animatronics on Pinocchio is really good. And I love some of the practical on the title sequence, where it was Scott Reese and Vince in Scott's apartment, and they're doing the Pinocchio Unstrung title sequence, which is so cool and so unique. In the way they do with the opening sequence, also, it's just they're so creative in what they're able to do with the budget, and their budget is higher than it has ever been, and it's still working on a budget, and it's just really impressive where they've come from movie one to now in a 3-year span. And yeah, also want to shout out to Cameron Bell, I believe is his name, who plays James. I think he does a terrific job here as James. He brings a likability. He brings toughness to when like he gets bullied, and I really liked how he doesn't like really back down. He's like he gets emotional, but he's not like he gets into the bully's face. He brings something a quality to him that I don't know what you call the quality, but it's just it's really cool, and he really brings that, again, a likability to James, and which is really important for you to. Now, is the story very like it is very fast paced, so it's pretty fast paced for what it is, considering like if you're comparing to this like this into Bambi. Bambi I think was definitely more fast paced, and but I still like the characters throughout those films. Um, but I really like James, and I like the girl, um, Mia. I think the actress who does a good job with that role. There's another character, Dudley, I believe it's his name. I think he was definitely. I will say he was a big mix, more of just how his just the character. There's times where he can be funny. Sometimes he's like a little off. Not as funny, but I think and there's something with that character. But it's definitely most the cast does a really good job for the most part. Pretty much everyone is like really pretty solid out to the least. Um, Now I really don't have any complaints about the movie. Now there's some things that again to me I think this is going to be the most liked. I think this is going to be the one that will get people a bit on board. Will at least watch this. I think because this is so much more fun. It's not as dark in terms of just like tone, very like Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare, but it's still, I mean, it still has the gore, it still has the kills, but it's done in a fun way. But again, they had that tone, pretty much they had that find that balance of the tone. I think story wise might be something where people will have some complaints about it, where it's a little too fast paced. The development may not be as you want with all the characters per se. But I mean, I think you got the characters you needed to develop right there. Again, it's not like an like dial like it there. I think you get enough of what you need. Again, I think the one character that the Dudley character, the James's one of his other friend that you see, the friend you see. I think that's the one character where I'm like, okay, maybe he needed a little more work in terms of the way he was written or whatnot. But again, I think they do it. Reese does a really good job of giving us characters to like and kind of root for, while also giving us to like Pinocchio enough to like him, and also really, and he's also a villain too. So he finds the balance in, I think, most of the movie. Again, really just comes down to are you going to enjoy this type, like if you're going to enjoy that 80s type feel, the silliness, that kind of thing. If you dig something like this, I think you or like Child's Play or like those 80s be like gory, like if you're into that, this is just so much fun. Like it is. I had so much. I really want to see it again. I would try to go see it again tomorrow, but I have other plans. So, but in the end, I think in the end, this is a go see in a theater. Honestly, in my opinion, because I think this movie just brings what some of the fans have been wanting, something fun and not being taking itself too seriously, but also keeping the gore, the kills, and also keeping it practical, which is very important. The only thing not practical is the cricket, voiced by Robert Englund, and even then the CGI looks really good for what they're with how they're using the cricket with cricket. And so I really I appreciate what Reese and Scott and this whole team has been able to do through 5 movies, going on to 6 and then 7. And I can't wait for more, honestly. I do really highly recommend it. Again, there are going to be, for a lot of people, there will be flaws. It's not going to be perfect for everyone. For me, there's nothing I disliked about this outside of maybe one. I was mixed with the James's friend character, Dudley. I believe that was his name. If I print, I'll probably look it up after and I'll be like, oh. But there's nothing I really like. I think the pool scene with a nod to one movie might, I think, annoy some people. But outside of that, I really think this is just going to be something everyone's going to have a blast. I love also the cinematography. Vince Knight really kills it. I love that third act in the basement stuff. It's so cool. And yeah, this is a movie you will have a good time. Highly recommend. To me, this is a 4.5 out of 5. Please go check this out. See it in theaters. Whatever you have to do, go see this. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. This is Let's Talk Horror Movies. Signing off. Peace.